So understanding how templates within templates works is good, but there's something else that's really useful as far as being able to identify which templates you might need to modify for a particular customization that you want to accomplish. So at the end of this template reference, there's this enable template hints section. That's the same section is also found at the beginning of set template with a little bit more information. But the idea is that there's a way that you can essentially enable what we call template hints so that you can find out what the names of the templates actually are by looking at it as it's rendered on the page. So over here, I've got essentially a default demo of Klevu being implemented, and so it's rendering, and if I enable a filter, then the whole thing re-renders, which triggers all that stuff that we talked about. So starting from the triggering to modify request to receiving the response, processing the response, rendering the template, and then firing all of the events. All of that happened in a blink of an eye as soon as I triggered something. As if I go to page 2, all of that is, there's a new trigger for a new request, new response, processing the response, rendering the template, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really, really fast, but that all is happening while this is going on. And so if you wanted to find out, for example, if you wanted to modify something in this section of what's being rendered on the page, or if you wanted to modify something that's happening over here, or if you wanted to modify something that's happening over here, or at the bottom of this whole thing, or whatever the case might be, these template hints are really, really cool. So what you have to do is basically a two-step process. One, if you open up the DevTools, you can grab this little line of code. We're basically going into session storage, and we're going to set an item called KLV_debug mode to true. You don't have to memorize this. It's in our documentation. So I'll open up DevTools. I'll go into the console, and I'll just paste that line in and hit enter. That enables something. Then I can come back over here, and essentially it's just saying, hey, append this klib_global template hints equals true to the end of your URL. And it even gives you an example of what that would look like. So if I was on the search page and I'm looking for, the word blue, I would just grab this here. And in this particular case, I'm looking for Q equals asterisk, so it's just like a wildcard search. I would paste that in, hit enter, which would reload the page. And because I enabled that session storage variable, it turns this on. And essentially now I can see by these red boxes that this whole section is something called filters. If I come back over to the template reference, and this isn't quick search, that was the search result landing page, I can look for filters. Then I can find this Klevu landing template filters, copy that, jump back into my code editor, pull up the landing templates TPL, and just find that ID. Here it is. If I wanted to modify this template, I can now go ahead and grab all of this code, bring it over, modify it, make whatever change I need, tell Klevu to use this one instead of the default, which we'll walk into how you go about doing that in a little bit. But that's the idea of how all of this kind of ties together. Outside of that, I think we're good to stop here.